Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and thank you for joining us. My name is Sister Seerah, and I'm here, and we're doing the kid-friendly retelling of the Seerah called My Friend Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. It's hard to believe we imagined this as an 8-part series only for Ramadan. Alhamdulillah, it's already the last week of Ramadan, and we are on the second to last part of our series now, alhamdulillah. So today is kind of the closing, the ending of the Prophet's story, inshallah. So, it could get a little bit sad, hopefully not too sad, inshallah, but it could get a little sad. So you might want to have some tissue boxes nearby. But without further ado, we have a dear friend and a student in the Nizami program, and all around really awesome human being, mashallah. We have Sister Javairia Rizwan with us as our guest narrator today. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Javairia.
Walaikum assalam, Sister Seerah. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm doing well, thank you. How are you? How's your Ramadan?
It's good, alhamdulillah. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited to see all of you guys. Ramadan has been really nice. In the beginning, I was working a lot, so I didn't feel it as much. But I took these last 10 days off, so alhamdulillah, I'm able to spend more time with my family and really go through all the motions of the day, and it's really nice, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, that's so good. I'm so glad that you're getting that extra time with your family too. That's really, really important, alhamdulillah. So like I said, we're at the end of our Seerah now almost. We are going to be learning about, the last part of the Prophet's life, and you're here to do that with us. Thank you again so much for making time for that. And inshallah, whenever you are ready to start, go for it. Bismillah.
Thank you so much for having me. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah wa la ilaha wa sahbihi ajma'in. So we are going to review a little bit of what we learned last time. Last time on My Friend Rasulullah, we talked about his victory in Mecca and how the Prophet had returned to live in Medina. So we also went over this treaty that the Quraysh had kind of diminished shortly after installing it. So there was a treaty between the Muslims and the Quraysh, which was going to allow the Muslims to travel to Medina and perform Umrah. This was an agreement to have no wars for 10 years. And unfortunately, the Quraysh broke this treaty by attacking the Bani Khaza. After this, the Muslims went to go and protect them. And compared to the numbers before this treaty, there was about 1,500 Muslims at that time. By this time, there was 10,000 Muslims, and they were ready to protect their people. And this kind of, I wouldn't say scared the Quraysh a little bit. And so it made it easier to have a peaceful agreement. And the Prophet was able to peacefully lead the Muslims to Mecca and go straight to the Kaaba to perform Umrah. So he had a dream about doing tawaf 3 times around the Kaaba. And so that was the first thing that he did. And right after that, he went inside the Kaaba and he removed the idols. And this was him reclaiming Allah's house. And this was for all the Muslims. It's like, this is Allah's house. This is for my Muslims. And ever since that day, it's been the same way. So no more idols at the Kaaba. After this victory in Mecca, the Prophet had returned to live in Medina. By this time, there was even more Muslims. The numbers had increased so much to our beautiful deen, and it had fully been established. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had revealed the 5 pillars of Islam. And I know some of you might know these pillars. So if you do, you can go ahead and send them in the little comment box if you know some of the pillars. I'll wait for... So the 5 pillars are Shahada, Salah, Zakat, Siyam, and Hajj. And by this time, the Prophet had completed the first 4. He had already taken Shahada long ago, performed Salah, given Zakat, and done Siyam. You know, what we're doing right now, we're fasting. And now it was time for him to finish up that final pillar of Islam and perform Hajj. So 2 years after they had reclaimed the Kaaba, the Prophet returned to perform Hajj. And now even more Muslims. At that time there was 10,000 Muslims, but now we are at 100,000 Muslims. Can you guys even think of that many people? Just imagine, they're all just coming in to perform Hajj with the Prophet. And it was during this Hajj that the Prophet ﷺ received his last revelation from Allah. And so Allah had said that this day I have perfected your religion for you and completed my favor upon you and have chosen for you Islam as your religion. I think that's so beautiful that they were able to make it to that Hajj and perform it with the Prophet and receive the last revelation during that time. And so after this revelation, this meant that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's message to the Prophet was complete. After this pilgrimage, the Prophet went back and focused on teaching all the Muslims good morale, how to live good lives, how to use the things that we have learned in our everyday lives, which we still do to this day, trying to take the words of the Quran and live by them. And he stressed that we were all equal. We might not all be the same, but in Allah's eyes, we are definitely all equal. And so after that, quickly, the message of Islam was spreading across so many lands, all these different countries, which definitely validated what Allah had told the Muslims at that time. He had told them in Surah Nasr that come a time where all the Muslims will have a great victory with the help of Allah. And it says Muslims will see many people joining Islam. And after hearing this, all the Muslims were so excited, like, oh my God, everybody's, finding out the truth and they're really believing, because they went through so many years of struggling and trying to show people the true message. And everybody was really excited. All the Muslims were really excited, except for Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. He became very sad when he learned this, and he was crying, and they didn't understand, like, why are you crying at such good news? We should be happy, so many people are learning the truth and joining our deen. But very soon after that, the Prophet ﷺ became very ill, and he wasn't able to lead Salah anymore. And he told his companions that Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu would lead Salah. When the Prophet was feeling better, he went to the masjid and he spoke to the Muslims. At this time, he said that Allah had given one of his servants a choice between life and what he had for him. And this servant had chosen whatever Allah had for him. The Muslims were really pleased to hear this story. I mean, even you can think about it, like, we have this dunya, right? And yeah, there's some really nice things in this dunya, but we know, inshallah, in Jannah, Allah will give us so much more. So if you were given the choice to, would you take things here, or would you take what Allah had for you? What would you choose? So after hearing this, the Muslims were very pleased to see the Prophet, even if he still wasn't feeling so good, but they were excited to have him. But when Abu Bakr heard this story, he became very, very sad, and he began to cry even more and more. And they were wondering, why is he so sad? Why is he crying when he hears about these things that the Prophet is telling us? So after that, it seems like maybe maybe Abu Bakr felt something or was thinking about something that not everybody else was thinking about. And one day at the masjid, the Prophet told his companions that he had always tried to be kind to everyone, and if he had ever hurt anyone by accident, that he would like for them to come and tell him so that he can make amends. And the companions were in shock. They knew that the Prophet had faced so many hardships with them, and when he preached the message of Islam to them, the people beat and injured him, but he prayed for their forgiveness. He was blameless and beloved in their eyes. Like, how could the Prophet do anything wrong? Why would you even ask that? But one of the companions, named Sawad al-Ansari, he came forward to the Prophet and he said that when we were straightening the lines of the Muslims before the Battle of Badr, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ had, kind of hit him a little bit, jabbed him with a walking stick, and all of the other companions were shocked. Like, why would you even mention something so small? And they were surprised that it was a complaint. But the Prophet eagerly welcomed him to come forward, and he was like, you know what, if you want to even out and do the same thing to me, we can do that. So this just shows how peaceful the Prophet was, that even in this time where everyone is thinking, wow, how could one even think that the Prophet would do anything wrong to someone? Even then he's like, you know what, if whatever I have done to you, you can do to me. And how many of us would be able to do that? Like, let's say you're hanging out at the playground at recess, and one of your friends accidentally, jumps off of the monkey bars and hits you, and you're like, oh my God, how could you do that? Not many of us would be like, you know what, you could hit me back right here. So that just shows how peaceful the Prophet was. So after this incident, while the Prophet was resting at the house of his wife Aisha, the Prophet passed away and he returned to Allah. And with tears in their eyes, the Muslims recited a verse from the Holy Quran that many of us recite when we hear of someone who has passed away. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And this means, to Allah we belong and to Him we return. The Holy Prophet established the worship of one God, and he brought the Holy Quran to us, and he taught all of the Muslims how to navigate through life with the message of Allah. And he taught us our duties to God and how to follow people. And Muslims would continue to look up to his example, just like we do today. We follow so many things that the Prophet taught us, and that is what the Sunnah is. So when someone says, oh, you should do this, this is practicing Sunnah. It's things that the Prophet had done. And for all time to come, the Prophet told us that we should live honest and honorable lives. And you should always look to his words, which is the hadith, to better understand the meaning of Islam. Sometimes, we might read something in the Quran and not really understand how to put those rulings to our life. And so the hadith is there to help guide us, to help navigate. It's kind of like a TomTom, a GPS, and it helps you go through the Quran. I don't know if any of you guys know what a TomTom is, but so today there are so many Muslims all over the world who love and pray for the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, who was an orphan, and he became the seal of all the prophets that Allah had sent down to us, and a mercy for all of the worlds. And we always make dua, oh Allah, please bless and prosper Prophet ﷺ and his people the way that you have prospered Ibrahim and his people. You are praiseworthy and exalted.
Thank you so much, Sister Javairia. That was really, really lovely. That was such a beautiful, beautiful ending to a beautiful story in the way that we can see the Prophet's, the beauty in his character, the patience, the generosity in his character, all the way to the end. Alhamdulillah. So thank you for sharing that with us. That was really nice.
Not a problem. I'm feeling emotional now.
I know it's really hard to talk about this part. We need the tissue boxes nearby. It's just, you know, putting yourselves in the you know, just putting yourselves in the minds of the Sahaba of that time is just such a powerful, like, kids, if you can just imagine your best friend and losing them. For them,
like, just thinking of, like, you know, a close friend or a family member, even a sibling, you know, and you're just like,
a mentor, even, like your teacher, you're the person you look up to the most. It's huge. It's a lot. But like you said, alhamdulillah, we have these hadith, sahih hadith, that are sound in their narration. We know it's truly the words of the Prophet ﷺ. So it's such a gift from the previous generations, the Sahaba, the Tabi'een, that we have his words with us still. Alhamdulillah, that's such a great gift. And he was the greatest gift to all of us. So really, alhamdulillah.
Every time you guys think of doing something, I always think, like, or if you get, you know, mad or having frustration or anything like that, especially during Ramadan, you know, like right before iftar time.
Yeah.
Where'd you put the pakode? Why are you making pakode? Why are you using mangoes? This is so unhealthy. I thought we'd agreed that, you know, all this stuff. Just remember, you know, what would Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam do? You know, how would he react in this situation? And I'm thinking, like, oh, I would have been like, oh, thank you so much for frying me egg rolls. You know, just it starts off with small things, you know, things like saying thank you. You know, today we should remember to say thank you after we're given our iftar to whoever has made it for us. Thank you for whoever who's leading salah at home. You know, those small things really make a big difference and remind us of what the Prophet taught us. You know, good morals start at home.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I love that question. What would Muhammad do? Alayhi salam. Always ask yourself that at every juncture in life, at every decision. What would Muhammad do? What would the Prophet alayhi salam do? So, oh, and I do know what a tom-tom is. I'm old enough to know that too. I remember those GPS sit on your dashboard, right?
Oh my God.
Right.
More reliable than my Apple Maps.
Yep. All right. Well, alhamdulillah, jazakallahu khairan, Sister Javairia. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing this part of the Seerah with us. I do have a couple announcements. Please, if you guys could stick around for that before we go. As you all know, we are raising funds for our beautiful big new masjid in Roseville. We're almost there, inshallah, to our goal of $500,000. So please consider contributing. Share links with your family and friends. You can follow these links. I've just put them in the comments, and they're also in the description as well, to give your sadaqah and also your zakat. Don't forget, of course, about your zakat. You can also do that at the Javairia website. Other than that, we do have, of course, our messages from the divine every day at 9 p.m. And this program, My Friend Rasulullah, we're actually going to have the final installment, part 8, tomorrow with Sister Salaha. So do tune in for that as well. And finally, I would love all of you guys, and I hope you are too, your family, Javairia, joining us for Eid. While social distancing, we have a drive-through Eid. Guys, it's so fun. Everybody on the staff, on the Tarbiyah staff, has been working so hard to make this happen, and to make it exciting. It's going to be colorful. It's going to have, I don't even want to give away the surprise. You guys come and see, inshallah, our drive-through Eid on Sunday between 9 and 11. Make sure you pray your 2 rakat. Salat al-Eid at home, prayer, and pay your zakat al-fitr before you come. But 9 to 11, drive through, inshallah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope to see you guys there.
Also, for donating if Venmo is easier for you guys, we have a Venmo too. Super easy. I know a lot of you guys have, or parents, you know, send money for your kids' sports stuff on Venmo. So if you want to donate through there, it's easier too.
Exactly. Thanks so much for the reminder, Javairia. Yeah, we've got Venmo and we've got the link in the description, inshallah. So thank you, everybody. Inshallah, we will see you tomorrow. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.